Well, hello again, everybody. Welcome to another Yukon Bob video in the truck again this morning. I seem to start a lot of these videos in the truck. It seems to be kind of a good place to just do a little scene setter as to what the heck we're going to be doing for the day as I'm driving to the location. So what am I doing today? Well, it's an early start this morning. I'm driving up to a place called Wabashine. It's at the very bottom end of Georgian Bay, and the planned ride today with the Sea-Doo Tours riding group is to ride all the way from there up to Parry Sound. This is one of the longer rides that we do every year. If we do the whole thing, which is the plan, although that may change, we'll see, but the plan would be to ride to Parry Sound, and that is about 100 kilometers more or less one way. So there and back, if you do the full ride, that's 200 kilometers plus all the gas. That's probably 2 tanks of gas, just about. So it's going to be an expensive day on the water, money-wise, and also a long day on the water if we do that full ride all the way up to Parry Sound. So that's the plan, and we'll see how that turns out. I don't know how many people are going to be riding with us today. Probably at least 4 or 5, and maybe even a couple of more. I'm not sure. I won't know that till I get up there, but I'll see you there. It's about an hour and a half for me to get up there from where I live, and I should be there close to 9 o'clock this morning. So I'll see you in Wabashine. Well, I thought I was going to be the first guy at the ramp this morning, and I would be here a little earlier because I left a little earlier and kind of misjudged the timing of the ride, but that is not the case. Everybody is here already this morning, and it looks like we've got a little bigger group today for the ride. So quite a few newcomers today. Sometimes they hold an open ride on these things, and what happens on the open ride is people just come along and we get some new people out on the ride, and that looks like the case for today. So already a couple of people in the water. We'll get things unhooked here and get ready to go. So the great thing about having a big group like this is that you've got help backing in and everything. I've got somebody to back the vehicle in. I can just sit on the Sea-Doo and then drive it right off the trailer. A little more. Smooth as pie, beautiful. I like how that worked. Wow, do I really have to go all the way down there? I think I do. Those are all just way too high along there, so I'm gonna have to go further down and see if I can find some place to get in, where I can get off the Sea-Doo, then walk back, get the camera off the truck, lock the truck up, and do that sort of thing. So, looks like everybody's come way down here. Holy smokes! Not much of a place to tie up, is there? Wow. Holy smokes! Not much of a ramp or any place to tie up, though, is there? Jesus. Well, we are going to be a fairly big group today. This is one of those days where the Sea-Doo Tours riding group just designates the ride as an open ride, so other people get invited to come along rather than just the core main group, which is always nice. You get a chance to meet some new people and also see some new machines. There's one of the regulars there, but there's also several new people. I haven't got a count here exactly how many people are coming, but when you monitor the Sea-Doo Tours website, they will occasionally say, okay, it's an open ride today. Anybody who wants to come along, just let us know and meet us at a certain spot, and we'll do an open ride, and everybody can kind of come along, and that's what today's ride is going to be about. So it has gotten a lot sunnier since I left home. It was overcast when I left, but now, look at it now. It's beautiful sky out. There's hardly a cloud in the sky. Wind conditions are supposed to be pretty calm for the day, so we'll see how that fares as we go along, but right now it's just like glass out here. So the place that we're launching from is called Wabashine. Wabashine is an Aboriginal word meaning place where Sea-Doos meet. No, it's called Rocky Shores, apparently is what the word means in the Aboriginal language. But I think it's more appropriate of place where Sea-Doos meet, because every time I come here, that's what seems to happen. There's a pile of Sea-Doos here. So as we head out of Wabashine, we've got a really big kind of open bay to go through, a lot of open water across this big bay. Then we get back into some of the nicer stuff, which is all the islands that make up the 30,000 islands within the Georgian Bay system. We'll get back into some of those islands, drive around some of them, weave in and out of them, that sort of thing. But to start with, we're going to be kind of a big body of water till we get into the narrower spots. Andrew's going to be the tour leader today, and I'm going to be following him. I'll let him do the guiding. We'll just go along for the ride. this is going to be a big group today. There are 10 machines out here in total, one machine with 2 people on it, but 10 machines on the water. That's the biggest group that I've ridden with in quite a few years, so we're going to have to watch out for one another that we don't turn too quickly or cross in front of one another too sharply, because that's a big group on the water. So we'll see how all that goes today. There's the last 2 right there getting ready to go. Just off the start here, one of the machines, Andrew's machine, our group leader for today, his machine doesn't start all of a sudden, so he thinks he may have a drained battery for whatever reason. We're going to try out this power pack that I have been carrying around since the beginning of the season. It's never been used before. It's one of those jump start power packs that you can hook up to your battery and get a boost just off the power pack. So we're going to try that and see how that works. It's the first time it's ever been used. Yeah, I'm not sure which end it hooks into. That end, obviously.
Square peg in a round hole.
Okay. Maybe what you might want to do is put the battery terminals on first and then hook up the power pack. Because, yeah, you don't want to touch those now. Wish the cables were a little bit longer on that, but I guess it'll reach. If you're using the power pack, you just got to be careful. You make sure you get the terminals connected properly. Positive to positive, negative to negative, obviously. And don't touch anything else metal. Just make sure those connections are on the post properly, and then see if it produces enough of the juice that you need to turn over the engine. Well, that seemed to have worked. That's a good thing. Okay, it started right up, and now his battery will charge off the engine, but we'll keep the power pack handy just in case we need it again. I don't know how good of a sign it is when the team leader is the only guy out of 10 machines that has a problem right at the dock with his battery, but that little power booster unit that I was carrying just paid for itself. So it worked. We hooked it up, it charged up. It didn't charge his machine up, but it gave it enough of a boost for it to start. So he should be okay going forward from here. Whatever his problem was, why it drained out, we don't know, but he is running now. So just in case I didn't mention it, it was $30 to park and to launch here. I think it went up $5 last year or something like that. So it's a $30 fee here at Wabashin to get into the water on the very bottom end of Georgian Bay. Then there's a bit of a no-wake zone you got to go through for a little while to get out into the bigger body of water. The water also gets a little deeper out there, and once it gets deeper, then we can open it up and take off. We'll put Andrew up in front and let him lead the way. And we are, as I say, a big group today, 10 machines on the water. Okay, let's go. There's going to be a lot of chop today because of all the machines riding in front of me. Even though it's a nice still day on the water, there's going to be a lot of wake that I'll be riding through. So we've all just assembled out here in Georgian Bay, just a little ways out from where we launched from, but we're missing 2 machines. There's 2 people who haven't shown up. Somebody said there may be some problem with weeds in one of the machines. The other machine that hasn't shown up is Andrew's, the one that I jump-started or gave him the booster pack to start his machine up. So we're just kind of waiting to see what the heck's going on. We're all kind of assembled here sitting in the sun, waiting for those 2 guys to show up. I don't know if I should take a run back and try and find them or just give them a few more minutes and see what's going on. But yeah, it seems to be a bit of a problem with, well, when you got a big group like this is what happens. You know, the more machines you've got together on the water, the more chances of things going wrong for somebody. When we travel with smaller groups, less of a chance of that. It could still happen, of course, but we are experiencing that this morning. Apparently we are not 10, we are 11 machines on the water, and missing 2 right now. So apparently it was Phil. He had sucked up some weeds into his machine, and that took a little time to clear the weeds. So we are now set. There's the group that was sitting waiting for us, and we're all ready to go again. Yeah, it's a pretty big group with 11 machines out here today, so you're really got to kind of watch left and right before you make any sudden turns, that you're not cutting into somebody or that somebody isn't going to cut into you. Just over to my right, heading north or south, I guess we're going. That is Beausoleil Island over there. Normally we go on the other side of the island, up the inside passage of the island. A little more scenic up that way, but I guess Andrew's decided to take the outside route of Beausoleil and go along the outside, more open water. Kind of shallow out here. The water depth is, you know, only 2 meters out here, so it's not that deep out here. But we're going to go out the upside. It saves us some time from going through that whole inside passage, and maybe he's decided with this many machines today that it's a little safer to take the outside. Got to do a couple of frequent stops just to make sure that everybody is caught up and we still have the same number of machines that we left with still with us. So we just did a count. There are 11 machines here, so all is good. 11 machines, and away we go again. Look at all the wake, though, that all these machines start throwing. It's pretty hard to get 11 machines riding across once you get into the narrower channels at the top of Beausoleil Island. On the big open water, it's not a big deal. You can kind of get spread out. But once you get into the inner channels, it's pretty hard to get 11 machines spread across. So you are going to be in wake following a couple of machines or 3 or 4 machines in front of you at least, and you get this kind of stuff. Might be hard to get some nice, smooth, steady pictures today with all the sea-doos in front of me, creating a fair amount of chop. Watch out for that Yamaha spray. There's quite a diving platform right there. That's about as high as the one I saw in Lake of Bays a couple of weeks ago. That's up there a ways. I think I'm now officially the back of the pack. If we get all the way to Parry Sound, it's going to be an expensive day for gas because it'll be at least a tank of gas going up there. So 70 liters times on the water, probably close to $2 a gallon or a liter. So that'll be $130 fill up, $120 fill up in Parry Sound, and then burn up another 120 or so coming back. So expensive day on the water. Take a look at this rock here, just sitting under the water. Look at the shape of that rock, and it's just under the water level right there. If you came whipping along here at speed in this black water, that rock is super dangerous. You could hit that quite easily because it's a little ways offshore, but it's just sitting under the water, and it's got kind of a pointy edge to it. That is what you do not want to hit at speed or at any time. Well, there's a bit of an indicator of the wind for today. Fairly light. Look at all this beautiful rock around this part of Georgian Bay. This part of the bay is full of these granite islands. You just kind of weave in and out of the islands through around this area out here. All this kind of stuff. There's a built nest up there. I think it's probably for osprey, but it doesn't look like a pair of birds has made a nest in it. I like how they've got the cone thing set up on the pole there so nothing can kind of climb up there so that the osprey are protected in the nest. I have seen a video in the past where there have been bears that have climbed trees where osprey or other birds have built nests, climbed up the tree and grabbed the young chicks right out of there and pulled them out and eaten them. So this one, that won't be possible. First of all, it's on an island, and secondly, it's got that metal cone there, so nothing's going to be able to climb up there. Well, we've made it up to Henry's Fish and Chips on the water, but today, being a Monday, means they're closed today. They close on Mondays and then they're open for the rest of the week. We will be having lunch today in Parry Sound. You may have seen the video a couple of weeks ago. I had lunch at Henry's in Parry Sound, and that's where we're going to have lunch today. That's their new location. This is the old one here on the water. I think it's still up for sale. They're trying to maybe get a franchise operation going. If they sell it, they'd like to maybe franchise the operation. From what the owner said, co-owner, Rachel told me, that's what they're hoping to maybe do. So that would give them a couple of locations. But here it is, kind of quiet today because, as I say, it's a Monday and they are closed today here. So I have never really liked the spout that came with the Sea-Doo Link extra gas tank. So this winter, I ordered a new one. It's from a company called Scepter, and it's got a trigger and all that sort of stuff. So you sort of put it into your tank and then you press the trigger and the fuel starts flowing. At least that's the theory. I've never tried it out, but I'm gonna try it out now. I tried it out, you know, at home with some water in it sort of thing, just practicing with the thing, and it doesn't leak and all of that, and make sure it doesn't drip. But the other one I found always leaked gas, and it was getting gas all over the Sea-Doo, and on this cheap plastic that's on the Sea-Doos, it doesn't take much to stain the plastic if you get a little bit of gas on it. So maybe we'll give this thing a try and see how it works. So I guess the trick is to get it. Yeah, I see now it's, is that leaking gas? Or is that water? Okay, you got to push the green thing down and hold the trigger at the same time, and then the fuel flow starts. I wasn't pushing that green thing down and we weren't getting any fuel flow. Now we are. Like anything else, until you've done it once, you really don't know what the hell you're doing. But now with the fuel flow, there's no more dripping of fuel, and it is going in. Okay. So that's it. That is a little bit easier than the other method of the nozzle that comes with the Link system. It took me a minute or two to figure out how the heck this thing works, because I had forgotten how it works. You've got to push the lime green thing in and pull the trigger at the same time, then the fuel will flow, but it still takes a little while. It doesn't pour out of there, it kind of comes out as air vents through it. It pours out, but it doesn't pour out super fast. So it takes 5 or 6 minutes to drain the tank. But I think that does work better. Woo, getting a little warm here. I could take off this jacket, but that would take a little longer, and I think this group wants to get going. A little bit of gas on the hands, let's get that off. And on this hand too. Looks like our leader is doing a course navigational change. I think he went down the wrong channel. Everybody turn left. This is where we get narrow, just coming into Parry Sound. Sort of the inland passages all the way in between all these little islands. Beautiful day. I dropped way back though behind the whole group just so I could get into some calmer water. Just too bouncy riding with all the group. So I've dropped back a ways. It's a lot more difficult making these videos for you guys when there's a big group like this that you're riding with, just because it's kind of go, 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 and I don't have the opportunity as much to pull into little bays or point out this or point out that. It's more or less just kind of keeping up with the group, not getting too far behind. I know where I'm going, so I can always find them. This is the swing bridge coming into Parry Sound. I don't think I've ever seen it open where it's swung the other way. It's always been this way when I've gone through it. They have a sign up there, a digital sign for the wind, 4 kilometers per hour, so it is a pretty calm day out here. Well, there she is again, the Queen of the Islands. Or the Island Queen, I guess it's actually officially called. A couple of videos ago, it was out on Parry Sound, and I came across it and chased it around a bit. You might remember that video from, I don't know, a couple of weeks back, something like that. So here we are, back in Parry Sound again. There's a float plane base right up here, so this is definitely a no drone area in the air. I have not had a chance really to get the drone in the air at all today, just because it's been so fast and quick riding with the group. Just hasn't really been a chance. Okay, so we've just pulled into Henry's dock. They have 8 or 9 slips in here for customers, but this being a Monday, they're also closed here in Parry Sound on Monday. I didn't know that. I thought they might be open, but out at San Souci on the water and here in Parry Sound closed on Mondays. But I don't think they'll mind if we use their dock and then go over and eat at their competition restaurant since they're not open, which is Tailwind. So we'll park here and then walk around. So in some of the past videos you guys have seen, I've talked a little bit about Sea-Doo should have invented some kind of locking system for the main hatch when you lift it up, that when you put it down, there might be some way of locking it. So when I pull in here with all my camera equipment and stuff like that, I could just put it in there and just put a little padlock or something on it. Now, Rick tells me there is such a thing that he has made. What have you got? Nothing fancy, it's just a hole drilled through there and the padlock goes on. So I see. I never thought of that. Yeah, this one could go, but so you've put a pad just through the release mechanism, the little handle. You drilled a hole through there, put a padlock right there, so nobody can do that. See, I was thinking of something maybe down here or something with top and bottom, but that is so simple. It's
Very simple.
Very smart. I love that. There's another tip for you. You can just do that. If you want to have the ability to lock that hatch that lifts up, just put a little hole right through the latch there and then put a padlock on there. Perfect. Problem solved. Sorry, Rachel, we're eating at a different restaurant than yours, but it's only because you're not open. We were going to eat at your place, but you're not open on Monday. Where's your Sea-Doo? Where's your machine?
I swam here.
Everywhere I go, Greg is a surprise for me. I pull into Friday Harbor, who's standing on the dock? Greg. I pull into Parry Sound at Tailwinds. Greg. He's everywhere.
I took it down to my basement.
Do you remember that moose there from last time? The last video I used that moose right there as a thumbnail for the video that I did the last time I was up in this area. So that may be why that moose looks familiar. We are a big group today. We're 11 people here for lunch at Tailwinds. So it's going to take a little while to get our food and the drinks. And I think we still got to top up with gas, right, Ron? People going to get some gas yet?
Yep.
So we're going to have to top up with gas.
Unless you want to walk.
I think we could be leaving here around 4 or 5 this afternoon heading back. It's going to take a while. So the food has arrived. I had a bacon cheeseburger, and what was kind of odd today is that we ordered first at this end of the table, and yet that end of the table way down there was where all the food arrived first, and they're working their way back this way.
That's because ours will be warmer. Ours will be warmer. Ours is served.
They must have read the list from bottom to top instead of top to bottom. That must be what happened. So that is our lunch at Tailwinds for today, and I got to tell you that when you've got 10, 11 people sitting down for lunch, it's a big group like that. It was over 2 hours before we all got served and were able to pay. So that is one of the drawbacks of a big, large group, is it just takes a lot longer to do things. And now we've got to go get some fuel, and that means a whole bunch of people lining up at the fuel dock as well. So it's just that kind of day. Just everything's a little bit slower today. Get everything reorganized here. I got a battery or two to change. I'm going to change microphones as well, put some fresh microphones on so that I have enough power to get back. So we'll do that while we're waiting for everybody else to come back down. A couple of weeks back on one of the Yukon Bob videos, I asked for some feedback on, you know, the videos that I'm making. I just sort of said, I seem to be making these in isolation. Can you give me some feedback? Are they getting too long? That sort of stuff. And you guys were overwhelming in your response. Thank you so much for all the feedback I got from you. As of the last time I looked, I think there was over 60 comments of people talking a little bit about the videos I'm making. And you know what? I would say overall, for the most part, you guys are fairly happy with the stuff I'm turning out. People said, just, you know, keep it the same as it is. It's not too long. I thought they might be getting too long. Everybody said, no, I'm watching it all the way through. I just wasn't sure about that. So thanks very much, guys, for the feedback. There were some specific comments about different things, and I've taken those to heart. I will give some consideration to all of those things, but just wanted to say thank you for all the feedback you gave me for that question I posed. It's going to help me out a bit. Thanks a lot. So walking over to my Sea-Doo, I spotted this buoy which was loose in the water. I'm going to come over and pick it up and take it back over to the dock. I can grab it with one hand. I just think it belongs somewhere up here on the dock. Maybe taking some people for a bit of a sightseeing ride around some of the 30,000 islands within Georgian Bay. Just pulling off the dock here. Lake Country Airways. Well, it's 3:30 in the afternoon now. We're just leaving Parry Sound. The plan from here is to make our way back over to an area called Moon River Basin. There's a waterfall back in there. I think we're going to poke in there, go back and have a look at the waterfall, and then make our way back to where we started from. So, yeah, it's a little ride to get back into Moon River Basin. You got to get into the islands and weave our way through a bunch of islands to find it. We'll let Andrew lead us through the channels and get back there. We're just sitting here waiting, though. We were missing one Sea-Doo. We couldn't find out where the heck the Sea-Doo was. and apparently he's out there. I don't know where he went to. Phil went out for a ride somewhere. Maybe he went to a different marina to get gas or something like that, but we found him, so we now have 11 machines back with us again. Watch out for airplanes in Parry Sound. I think I am going to end this video here, guys. I'm not sure how great this video is going to turn out. By the time that I'm saying this, I will now know how it turned out. But right now, I've just collected a bunch of high-speed footage today, so I'm not sure how this thing is going to turn out. We didn't sort of poke into a lot of little places and chat about them and things like that, so a little bit different today. Riding with a fairly big group, and we kind of just bombed down the lake all the way from Wabashine all the way up to Parry Sound and back. So let's see how this turns out. It may not be one of the better videos, but we'll see. Thanks for coming along, guys, on this Yukon Bob ride with a big group today, 11 machines in total on this Sea-Doo trip, as they all dock to get their ice cream for the day. I'm going to wrap it up here and say thanks very much for coming along. I'll see you guys out on the water somewhere real soon. Stay safe on the water, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.